Ladies and gentlemen, this is Eddie Marcus again, and I'm trying some new stuff, but it's all in favor of trying to reach you. I'd like to start off of this message that I'd like to share with you tonight. I'd like to start it off with a story that is quite biblical. It has to do with David and Goliath. You know what the story said about Goliath, and you know what it said about David. Well, in America, they say America is the greatest, most powerful nation on the face of the earth. That's the nation stating that it's the greatest, most powerful on earth. And the people believe it. At least the American people do. I don't know about the other people around the world. But I do know this. I know that the leader of this country calls himself God, calls himself a king, and he brags about the mightiness of being mightyful because he has been in a position to always control and manipulate people, even from his youth. And now, with all of the ugliness that he's exhibited before the people seem to love him for it, which means that that's the kind of people we have in this country. And so, together, this David has to face this great Goliath that's coming from the United States of America, even with God over in Israel coming over to attack and destroy David, only to end up Goliath didn't get his head cut off, but he sure went back home with his tail between his legs. And what did God have to offer the people of Israel for all of the killing and all of the pain and all of the suffering that they called people in Iran? Now, it says that I should say something that needs to be said. This leader that seems to be representing the United States of America, that is making America ashamed, it is making the world see that America has never been great. And America's always kind of been phony just because they dropped the bomb and people know that they will kill. And perhaps they don't want to kill as easily as Americans want to kill, so they just stand down. But this guy has made America appear to be weak in every way. And where people thought they were strong, he just snatched people out of power who had trained and prepared themselves to at least be dignified in a certain kind of way, and stuck some coons. People, what I mean by coon, people who didn't know what the heck they were going into office to do. And he didn't care because all he wanted somebody to lick his boots. And he was going to tell them what to do anyway. They couldn't use their mind because they better not have a mind, understanding that he has the greatest mind of all the minds. So why would he let them make a decision? Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm saying this to say that this is the kind of world that we're living in. But we're going to change this, baby. They still got plans with 2025 project to try to eradicate anything that's good on the face of the earth. And why? Because they are low down and they don't understand. Think about the churches that supported all of this evilness, all of this pain, all of this suffering. Big churches, white churches. I don't think they had many black churches. In fact, I don't know if they had any black churches at all. They might have some black people. But they were out there, God loving this man. God is sending this man. Maybe God did, because he sure have exposed who we really are. And I don't think you are excited about it. I don't think you're thinking that you are somebody you should be ashamed to show your face, because what you're actually doing, you have turned God's house, used by Donald Trump, into a shit house. You have turned God's house, used by Donald Trump, as a shit house. And those of you who did not support Donald Trump, were you out there telling your parishioners every time you got a chance that they got to stand up for righteousness and make sure that the Constitution, if it does not address the concerns of righteousness, that they change? I mean, did you do that? Well, if you didn't do that, you can't point your finger at these guys over there. You're no better than they are, because in order for the things to go along as it did, it required everybody. And if you weren't trying to bring righteousness to everybody, then you on that same road of destruction. Because let me tell you something about God, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know what you've been told, but let me tell you something about the God I know. The God I know is responsible for the existence of this earth. No man, no white man, no nationality, no nothing. The resources that are on this earth came from that same power. No man, no nationality, no God other than the one that is original. And for the purposes that it serves, prepared for that, but no other, but the power of that same universal God. And here we are, being given the authority to live on this earth, created by this magnificent power, and given choice to live as God's child or Satan's child, to create heaven on earth or some hell on earth. But how can God lose? I mean, God exists so that you can know the truth. And where the truth is, the truth will prevail. So I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, that if you ever want peace, and you do, you're going to have to try God. That means you're going to have to respect people, treat people like you want to be treated. If you ever want to be free, you're going to have to assure beyond a shadow of doubt that everybody else is going to be free. And how do you do that? By wrapping your freedom up in their freedom. If they are not free, you are not free. And if they are free, you are free. That's how you do that. Whew. I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, I want to make sure that all these small towns where many of you grew up in, you moved away from because there was so much pain and suffering there, you didn't want to stay there. You want to go someplace else. And sometimes you go back to visit those places and you find out they miss you. All the buildings are shut down, houses are falling apart, towns are shut down, half shut down, and they're just there. Let me tell you something, ladies and gentlemen. This is what I see. I see everybody being involved in change. And I'm talking about the real change that every last one of us been dreaming of. If we weren't dreaming about hating, if we weren't dreaming about lying, if we weren't dreaming about cheating and stealing and killing, then we were dreaming about love and joy and peace and prosperity and freedom and happiness and fulfillment of living the life instead of dreaming. And if that's where you were, then that's what we have before us today. This is the challenge that we have before us today. It has never existed as far as we know, but we know that that is what we want, and what we want, if it is that, then we create the system that would protect that. It's designed to produce that and protect that. I don't care anything about what some systems that have existed in the future, in the past. I'm talking about now and now on, until something is even better. I'm talking about you having nothing to worry about when it comes to education. You have it unlimited and unrestricted as long as you need it, so that you can be better at whatever it is that you've been given to do, that you choose to do, to put your love into, so that you can participate in the process of creating and maintaining in this reservoir of goods and services and abundance that overflows, and no one will ever have to suffer lack of anything. Making sure that those of you who are sick get the best doctors, get the best treatment from the womb to the tomb. And ain't nobody going to turn you loose till you shine as fixed. That's what I'm talking about, ladies and gentlemen. This ain't no Republican going to talk to you about this. Ain't no Democrat going to talk to you about this. And ain't no church going to talk to you about this. Nobody's going to talk to you about this but the voice of the living God, because only that voice of the living God gives a damn. Loves you. Want to make sure that your participation in this life makes you eligible for anything that is created by the hands of man. Makes you eligible for anything in this life. You go to nursing homes. We don't want anybody working in nursing homes except those people who designed and decided that their lives would not be complete unless they were there serving the people in such a capacity as that. We want to make sure that people have the best of life. Why? Because that's what God gives. And yes, if the best of life means getting up when you couldn't walk and start walking, then we'll do that too. If it means getting out that bed when you're sick and you're not ready to die, it means doing that too. And when you do pass along here, you don't have to worry about somebody burying you, talking about how much it's going to cost. You're going to get the best funeral, the best goodbye that it's possible to give, and it will be your choice. Ladies and gentlemen, I tell you, I'm telling you, I want to change this world. I want to see this world changed. And it can't change unless we, the people, decide that that's what we want to. And we must be willing to give what God has given us to do just that, because the bullshit got to go. People suffering, people walking around, need dental care, need clothes, need houses, need city. We want to build these cities back up. I was telling you about that a moment ago. I got off track. Build these cities back up. I'm in a little town called Itabena, Mississippi. I grew up a long time. When I come back here, and I come here quite frequent, I see the buildings that used to be so, when I was young, nice downtown, now just drooping, just dropping. And the economy is dead. We got to bring some life back to this world. Bring some life back to the people. I'm tired of it. But tired of it don't mean a thing if I can't do nothing about it. And I can't do nothing about it if you won't help, because it's going to take all of us. Well, I just thought about it. They don't like me to talk too long, so I just realized I've been going on. So I think you got the gist of what I'm talking about. But it's going to happen, but only because we decided to.